Hello, hello. I'm Tamara Wren, the tax doula, with today's tax tip. Today, I'm going to focus on being self-employed and how does the IRS define self-employed as an independent contractor versus a gig worker, because they are very different and the IRS has information about both of them. So I'm going to start with gig workers because a lot of people use that term, but how exactly does the IRS classify a gig worker? Well, in general, it's considered a person who is providing temporary or on demand services or freelance work. And that can be you're working as a driver, you're renting out property or part of your property, like maybe you own an Airbnb, you run errands or complete tasks. Like there's a company called Task Rabbit, and you can hire people to do a task for you. Maybe you're selling goods online. A lot of people are into like getting items and taking vintage items and refreshing them or revamping them. Maybe you're actually renting equipment. Maybe you're renting tools or something like that, or you're providing some other type of creative or professional service. You're making flyers for people, you're creating documents on Canva. It's usually something that someone is contacting you for, that you're doing for like in that moment, but it's not necessarily an ongoing job that you have with a specific individual. And you could be providing that service in person, like maybe you work for Uber Eats or Lyft or something, and you're providing that service in person. Or maybe you're providing it on a digital platform where someone is contacting you and you're providing something they need, like maybe folks sell on Etsy and eBay. So it could be something like that. Again, this is not tax advice, so you want to check with your tax preparer or your accountant. But those are generally areas where gig workers show up. And then we have independent contractors. And independent contractors are typically people they can be in the medical profession, they can be accountants, they can be subcontractors for company, they can be working as consultants. And those people are considered self-employed if they are not an employee of the institution and the organization or the company that they're working for. But you have to be very careful because there can be this really fine line between being an employee and being an independent contractor. So independent contractors typically set their own hours, but they still might have to work between a certain structure if they're working as a consultant with someone. It's assumed that they know how to do the job that they're being hired for, that they don't need to be trained for it. It's assumed that they're bringing their own supplies and all the things that they need, that those things are not being provided for by them. And at the end of the day, when it comes to the IRS, what they care about is who's paying the taxes. So if you are a W-2 worker, the employee is paying half of your taxes and you're paying the other half. If you are an independent contractor, you are a self-employed and you're responsible for all of your taxes. Just like a gig worker is responsible for paying all of their taxes to the IRS in their state, you are expected to pay, as an independent contractor, your taxes to the IRS in the state as well. And this is why it's important to be clear on which area you're in, because if you're working for a company that should be paying your taxes and they're only paying half because they're classifying you as an independent contractor, then that's a problem for them. And if you are an independent contractor and you're self-employed, then you need to make sure that all of those taxes are being paid. So those are essentially two of the areas that a self-employed person would fall under. You're either a gig worker providing on-demand temporary services. It can be in person or online digitally, or you're an independent contractor. You might have your own business set up, or you might be working as a consultant and, on the go in your own home office. So it's important for you to know which you fall under, because it's important for you to be able to file your taxes correctly. And that's my tax tip for today. I'm Tamara Wren, the tax doula. Until next time.